Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, my name is Kelly, and for today's video I'm going to be doing my March reading wrap-up. I ended up reading 10 books in March, and I also DNF'd one book. I read 7 physical books, and then I read 3 books on my Kindle. So I think we're going to do physical reads first, and then we'll go into Kindle reads. These also aren't going to be in order of the way I read these books. They're kind of in random order. Let's just get into it. So the first books I'm going to be talking about is I finished off the Royal Elite series by Rena Kent. So I read Vicious Prince. This is following Teal and Ronan, and this book ate so good. I definitely think that Teal and Ronan are my favorite couple in these series. I loved Ronan before reading this book. His friendship with Kimberly was just amazing, and I loved them. Honestly, I kind of wished that they were a couple before I seen him with Teal. But yeah, 5 stars. I loved their connection. I loved them individually, but I loved them even more together, and this book was just amazing. Look at the tabs. Anyways, so yeah, 5 stars. And then we read Ruthless Empire. This is Cole and Silver's book. I ended up giving this book 4.25 stars. If you see me looking down, I'm just looking at the ratings. I have them on my phone. So 4.25. This is following Cole and Silver. I did not know how I was going to feel about this book because I did not like Silver at all before going into this book. The way that she treated other characters, I did not like at all. But she did get a little bit of a redemption. I'm not sure if I 100% forgive her for some of the things that she did. But I definitely like her better now that I read this book. Cole is the main reason why I rated this book so high, because I love his character. And also the storyline in this book was really entertaining as well. So 4.25. And then on my Kindle, I read the epilogue. I'll have a picture of it on the screen somewhere over here, and I gave that 4 stars. So that's basically, you're following all the couples, get to see them like get married and stuff like that. So I really enjoyed it. It was a cute read. It was like 200-ish pages, so I'm not going to rate it any higher than 4 stars just because it's an epilogue book. But yeah, I did enjoy it. I'm sad that I finished this series, but that only means that I can continue my Rena Kent journey. So, very excited about that. Alright, the next book I'm going to be talking about is Bride by Ali Hazelwood. I ended up giving this book a 4.75. This book was actually really close to getting a 5-star rating. This book is such a different... what's the word I'm trying to use? It's so different from anything that Ali Hazelwood has written before, because you're literally following a vampire and a werewolf. But I ate this book up. It was so good. I loved both of the characters. I loved the plot. Her writing will always do it for me, so I really enjoyed the story, and I definitely think that it is my favorite Ali Hazelwood book of right now. It's very close with Love, theoretically, but I think this one might take the cake for me because I really enjoyed it. I had a great time reading it. So yeah, definitely pick this book up if you haven't already. So the first book that I actually read this month was Wildcat by Rebecca Genshak. I gave this book 3 stars. It is a hockey romance. I didn't enjoy this book as much as I thought I was going to. The characters were meh. They're just there, but I did enjoy the storyline, and yeah, I just gave it 3 stars. Can't go wrong with a short little hockey romance. And now we're going to talk about probably one of my favorite reads of the month. I did a reread of Happy Place by Emily Henry because the paperback came out in... yeah, it came out this month in March. I don't know why I'm pausing. As I was saying, the first time that I read Happy Place, I gave it a 4.5 stars. But the reread, it just hit different for me. I had the best time rereading this book. I laughed, I cried, sobbed, I was giddy. I just felt so many emotions in this book. This book is definitely a 5-star, even a 6-star read. I feel like this is probably my favorite Emily Henry book as of right now. We do have Funny Story coming out in April, so that could become my new one, but I think this one tops Beach Read just because the emotions that I went through reading this book, I annotated it. The vibes, I don't know, I connected to all of the characters, and it's so much more. I feel like Emily Henry's books are so much more than a romance. You're following like the friendships, and there's also grief, and there's just so many other different topics that are so important. And I really related to Harriet, the female main character. I want to read you guys a quote. If you don't want to know any like quotes or anything from this book, if you haven't read it yet, I would skip this part. But I'm not even kidding you guys, I have not stopped thinking about this book since I reread it, and this quote is going to probably stick with me forever. Where do I want to start in this quote? You know, I'm just going to start at the beginning of it. I go back and forth every 30 seconds thinking I'm hurting you just by being here, and then thinking you couldn't possibly still love me after all this time. And even if it's not real, a part of me wants to pretend I have you. But another part thinks I'll die if you don't tell me you love me, even if it doesn't change anything, even if it's just getting to hear it one more time. Everything's different and nothing's changed, Harriet. I tried so fucking hard to let you go, to let you be happy, and when I see you, I still feel like you're mine, like I'm yours. I got rid of every single piece of you, like that would make a difference. Like I could cut you out of me, and instead I just see everywhere you're supposed to be. I could cry right now. But please read this book if you have not already. It's so good. I had, like I said, the best time rereading this. It's definitely an Infinity, a star read for me. And it's a second chance romance as well, which I definitely didn't love second chance romances when I first started out reading, but I honestly think it's probably one of my favorite tropes. I loved it. And the setting of where the book takes place, just like the vibes, amazing. Please read this if you have not yet. Also, this book's been out for like a year. Actually, it has been out for a year. So if you haven't read it by now, go do it right now. Stop the video, go read it, and then come back and let me know what you think. All right. Next, we're going to be talking about Losers 2 by Harley LaRue. I read the first Losers book in February and I loved it. I ended up giving this book, I think, the same star rating that I gave the first one, which is a 4.5. Yes, I gave this book 4.5. It didn't give me that 5-star feeling, but this book was so good. I love all of these characters, and please ignore the cover. I hate it so much. I hate it so much. Can we please stop putting shirtless men on book covers, please? Because I hate it. But anyways, I loved all 4 of the guys. I love Jess. I love getting to see more of them. And this book pulled out my heartstrings. It was so good. The only thing is this book was a little bit too long in my opinion. I feel like we could have made it a 350-page book except for like a 500 and something page book. So that's why I feel like I didn't give it a 5-star. But it is definitely my favorite, one of my favorite dark romances of ever. So there's that. Next, we're going to be talking about a book that I DNF'd. So this was on my, I picked this for my TBR prompts video. And I pretty much read half of this book. Let me see where I stopped. I stopped at page 128 or 129. Something about the writing of this book, it was slumping me out, and like I said, I got halfway, so that a part of me was like, why don't I just finish? Like, I already read half of it, why don't I just read the other half? But then I said to myself, I'm not enjoying this book. The writing, it's making me feel kind of dumb. I don't know. But I said to myself, if I finish this book, I feel like it's going to put me in a slump. So I DNF'd it. Just, it wasn't for me. So I don't know if it's like a hard DNF. Maybe I'll come back to it. But for now, it's a DNF. And then the last physical book that I read in March was Saving 6 by Chloe Walsh. This is following Joey and Aoife. Is that her name? There's literally a little page in front that tells you how to pronounce their names, and I still feel like I'm pronouncing it wrong. Aoife. So Joey and Aoife, I honestly think that they are going to be my favorite couple. I haven't read Redeeming 6 yet. I'm going to be reading it in April before Taming 7 comes out, even though I know that Claire and Gibbsy are going to be my favorite couple probably, but I think that Joey and Aoife are going to top Johnny and Shannon for me because they are not childhood friends to lovers, but the angst and I don't know, just so many things about them I loved, and I'm so excited to continue and read Redeeming 6, even though I'm terrified because I've heard people say that that book destroys you. So I'm not ready for that, but the ending of this book definitely made me cry, and I had a great time reading it. Chloe Walsh's writing is so easy, like I feel like I fly through these books, so I'm really excited to read the next one. And Taming 7 comes out in April, so Claire and Gibbsy are such a highly anticipated couple. Like you get so many like little glimpses of them in these books, so I'm so excited for them to finally get their own book. I gave this book a 4.75 star. It was so close to being a 5-star. And now we're going to be talking about the books that I read on Kindle. So I told you guys already that I read the Royal Elite epilogue book, so I'm not going to talk about that one again. But I read Brutal Obsession by S. Massery. This is a dark romance. I think it's a dark hockey romance as well. I am still struggling on what to rate this book. I'm in between a 2.75 star and a 5. Not a 5. Not a 5. A 2.75 or a 3 star. I think I'm just gonna put it at a 3 star because 2.75 just feels very specific. A 3 stars because I did not love this book as much as I thought I would, because I love dark romance and I love hockey romance. Put them together, I thought I would enjoy it, but I was not rooting for the couple in any way, shape, or form. I was more interested. There is a like mystery aspect of this book as well, and I was way more interested in that than I was in the couple. They just seemed, they didn't really have an emotional connection in my opinion. It was just like a sexual connection. And also, this book starts off with him hitting her with his car. Look, I like a dark romance as much as the next person. Like a bully romance is okay for me, but he literally hits her with this car. And you want me to root for this couple? No, I'm sorry. That's a little bit of a lie for me. So I didn't love it. 3 stars. And then the last book that I read, actually it is the last book that I read in March, I got an ARC for Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez, and I'm not even kidding you guys, when I looked at my email and I saw this, I had a little freak out because Abby Jimenez is probably one of my favorite authors ever. Yours Truly is a book that I think will stick with me forever. So getting an ARC of this was just so special to me. I gave this book 5 stars. I think this is definitely Abby Jimenez's most emotional read, you guys. This book made me sob. I don't want to say too much about it. All I'm going to say is you are following Emma and Justin. And Justin has this thing where every time he gets in a relationship and they break up, the next person that they date ends up being the one. So he thinks it's like a curse, and he's like cursed for that. So he ends up doing this little posting online, and he comes in contact with Emma, who ends up having the same problem. So they figure that if they date each other, like fake date, when they break up, they will both find the one. It'll kind of like even the curse out. That's all I'm going to say. I don't want to say too much because I think you should go into it as blind as you possibly can. But, oh my gosh, you guys, definitely her most emotional read. Get some tissues. It was so good. 5 stars. Probably my favorite read of the month, also with the Happy Place reread and Bride as well. I don't know. I enjoyed pretty much every single book that I read this month. Even if it wasn't like a favorite, I still had a good time reading it. So yeah, that is it. Also, I wanted to say I am not doing a TBR prompts picks my reads for April. I think I just want to pick up whatever books I want. Also, there are so many new releases that I feel like that's all I'm going to be reading in April, along with some other books that I picked out myself. So yeah, there's not going to be a little TBR prompt. I also want to switch out the way that I'm picking my reads for the month. So if you have any other ideas, let me know down below and other ways for me to pick out my TBRs for the month. I kind of want to do something new, something fresh. So yeah, comment those down below if you have any. That is it for today's video. 10 books we read in the month of March. Let me know what books you guys read. Let me know your favorite book, your least favorite book, anything about the books that you read. That is it. I love you all, and I'll see you guys really soon in my next video. Bye guys.